Uh, it would not be the Latino slant if I didn't mess up. Let's go.
5, 4,
3,
1.
It's Polly. It's the Latino slant. Yeah. How's everyone doing? Glad you guys can make it on a special earlier slant. Muchísimas gracias. Share the link. Let people know that we are here and we have a very special show. Not only do we have yes, I am total boomer. Not only do we have a great guest, a great panel, but we're going to do something fun. But before we bring people in, right, because we're going to be talking about the 1993 hit, which is now a cult classic, Carlitos Way by Brian De Palma. Let's say hello to people in the chat. First, let's say hello to our new member of the channel, Shinotsky. Hail, Shinotsky. ¿Qué pasó? Ifran Guzman. Wepa. Poly Latino slant of creativity. I try, brother. I try. Pat S. It's Courtney. Orville Nation PJ. Mr. MH. Nerd Cookies was here earlier. I love the Nerd Cookies. She's got a great channel. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring in our panel. We're going to start talking about this movie. We're also going to act out a couple of scenes from the film. What do you guys think of that? Good. I hope you like it. All right. Well, let's bring in our panel as we wait for our special guest. Let's bring in Tom and Mr.
Hola.
Mexican Iron Man.
Hola.
Hey guys, when we think of Carlitos Way, what's the first thing that comes off to the top of your head?
It's Scarface 2.
Iron Man?
Kind of. I mean, you're talking about
die. He's been rotting in prison for 5 years, but now he's back and he's doing it Scarface's way.
Dun dun dun.
Mexican Iron Man, Carlitos Way.
This is a film that I didn't see, obviously, I didn't see it when it came out. I saw it later in life or down the road. And man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Well acted, well written, well directed, and dare I say, underappreciated in the chronicles of films, because I think more people should talk about it more often, even though it goes back a couple decades now. So,
well, one of its stars recently made a comment about the film, which I think is, kind of bringing new life into the discussion about Carlitos Way. But let's bring on our very special guest, filmmaker. He's got his own channel, and he's a really cool dude. And let's bring him in, Mr. Tom.
Hey guys, pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, I know that guy.
Hey Tom. Hello, Mike. I'm honored to be here with you guys.
I know that guy's work. Like, I'm getting to the point now with this movie that I'm almost at the point now where I can recite the scenes as they.
I love that
live. Like, I'm almost there.
We have to do a scene. Yeah, we have to do a scene.
I would love it if on a Poly. I would love it on. I don't know what channel we would do it on. I would absolutely love to do a deep dive off your film, because I love so I have always. Here's the funny thing. I've always hated the noir genre. I absolutely love your film, and I now love the genre.
Oh, thank you.
Well, I never understood it. I think it took your film for me to understand it, and since then, I've actually seen a lot more noir, film noir stuff from back in the day. And I never understood it. I never liked it, but I love your film, as you know.
Oh, thank you.
And
thank you. Yeah.
I've probably now seen it 8, 9 times, I think now. And now I've seen it in different versions, including the black and white. By the way,
that's right. Yeah, I've just sent you an autographed copy of it. I just sent you and dropped in the mail. So,
I'm so excited.
I appreciate that. Yeah, you know what? The black and white is the preferred version on
oh my
Blu-ray.
God! I thought you were when you mentioned that on Midnight's Edge that you said that was your preferred. I was like Tom's crazy, because I love the way that you handle the colors and the cinematography, and having already seen it probably at that point in time like 5 or 6 times, and like I may have mentioned to you that when you said that, I thought, God, Tom's crazy. You know what? I get it now. I totally get it. It's almost a different film, and I don't want to derail what we're doing tonight. But honestly, I had a very different experience, and it was equally great, but it was very different. And it was very different. And it was different in a great way. What I found myself focused more on the script. I found myself more focused on you know what else I found myself more focused on is the facial expressions and the acting. It allowed me to zoom in on the acting. Anyway, Paulie, I'm sorry for derailing.
No, it does that. And one of the things that drew me when Paulie and you were asking me about Carlito's Way is film noir is sometimes about time or a doomed person. And with Carlito's Way, what the appeal there is, this is about time. It's a tragedy. You know, it's about a guy who he's not even looking for redemption. He's just looking to escape, you know, and what I love about Carlito's Way in particular is this was a collaboration that, you know, they started with Scarface 10 years before this, but that was a real flashy film. That was a real, you know, barn burner film. But this is actually probably a better
American
film. American Excess. But this in a way is a better film. And I think it's very understated. And you're right. It's an underrated film because I think it has all the glitz. It has larger in life performances, but the somber mood kind of balances all of this in a way that his other work with Brian De Palma didn't. And to me, this has a lot of noir elements in it because this guy's doomed. He keeps getting pulled back in.
Well, let me back up a little bit because
are you saying that every time he tries to get out, they pull him back.
Pull you back in. Yeah.
What defines the film noir genre? Just what some of those elements that you just mentioned? Because then De Palma's has done a few of those.
That's true. Really, the defining things about it are there's a couple of things. It's the doomed inevitability of the main character. The protagonist can be smart, he can be charismatic, or he can be unlikable or likable, but inevitably he's heading for a brick wall. He's heading for the darkest part of human nature, and no matter what he does, he can't escape it. Sexuality is a weapon. It's often weaponized in noir. The women are dangerous, or they're these little angels you want to rescue. And certainly in Carlito's Way, his girl is a representative of him having a normal life, of him getting out, getting away, but she can never live in that world with him. And then film noir ultimately, of course, is about human nature and the dark side of human nature, with certainly Carlito's Way completely explores, because it's about somebody who I mean, he can go from an intense domestic argument, you know, where he's smashing a mirror, but he's got his code of honor, you know, his loyalty to his friends, and that loyalty will end up getting him, spoiler alert, well, it's not really, because they do it at the opening of the film, it'll get him killed.
Well, and that's the other thing is technical wise, it shares with noir, like the voiceover, the giving of the ending before you truly know what's going on, those kind of little playing elements technical wise too.
Yeah, absolutely. It's fatalist because at the beginning we see how he ends up, and the story is how does he end up there.
But we don't, we don't get the definitive ending, even though it's at the beginning and then it comes back. It's brilliant storytelling. It
really is. You're right.
And that's the connection too with Konkle's work in Trouble Is My Business. Yeah. Right, which people can get. Yeah. How can people see that? And then we'll just jump. We'll just dive into Carlito's Way.
Yeah, no. With Trouble Is My Business, it uses that same kind of looping. It starts with the ending and where he's ending up, going to a cemetery to find somebody that shouldn't be dead. And you can see it at troubleismy.biz, B-I-Z. It's on Tubi. You can get it on Blu-ray, DVD. It's on a bunch of streaming platforms. And I appreciate you guys giving me a shout out. I devoted a good chunk of time to making that film, so it means a lot to me that you took the time to watch it and enjoy it.
Well, and
let's get one of our wrenches to grab that link and put it in the chat. And really quick, Mike, before that, we have here probably one of the greatest performances of a Latino by a non-Latino.
It happens.
Are we talking about Pacino or Vigo?
We're talking about Vigo. We're totally talking about Vigo. I mean, I would argue that his one scene here, his portrayal of this Latino, of Lalin, is better than Pacino's portrayals of Scarface or Carlito. That's just me.
I think you're right. Lalin, he's a wheelchair-bound ex-con, and he has all these little layers to him, but he is played up by Vigo in a way. Like I was telling you before, if you told me this guy's going to be in Lord of the Rings, you'd be like, "What? That guy?" Because he disappears into it, and he takes the screen time that he has, and he has levels in his performance that he goes from like a quiet, cool to just completely losing it and being bitter and dangerous and then tragic, and he has some monologues in it that just break your heart. His monologue, we have a sample of some of the stuff he says, and it breaks your heart.
Now, I will disagree with you, Tom, that this is the superior film to Scarface. But I might agree with you on a sense that maybe Pacino gives a little bit more grounded and better performance. But it's funnily enough, and I was trying to find this. I can't find this anywhere, but somebody can confirm it. Throughout the entire film, I'm trying to place where he got his accent from. Because it's clearly that East Harlem, like Latino accent or whatever you want to call it. He stole it from Luis Guzman. Is who he stole it from.
He was listening to him on set.
I think so. I'm like, I was like looking for it. I'm like, it's got to be in trivia somewhere where like Al Pacino studied with Luis to get the right. I'm waiting for her to find it somewhere because I'm trying to place it because he starts talking and doing the voiceover. I'm like, I heard that voice before, and then Luis comes into the picture. I'm like, he's fucking stole it from him.
Yeah, that happens all the time on the set, though. You'll rehearse with somebody and you'll be like, I want to use that. Like, when they were coming up with Dr. Strangelove, Peter Sellers noticed the photographer, his name was Ouija, was taking photos on the set. And Ouija talked like this. He had this little voice. And he's like, I'm going to use that as Dr. Strangelove. So the photographer's voice is actually what the choice that he made. And I have a feeling in Carlito's way, he probably heard the voices. He's like, okay, that's authentic. I'm going to make that part of my DNA. Well, a good actor does that.
Let's get some of the facts about Carlito's Way. It was 2 books, Carlito's Way and After Hours by Edwin Torres. And Edwin was a judge, I believe. And I believe he makes an appearance in the movie, but this is his experience dealing with these criminals. And they made it into one book. The opening scene is just one for the ages.
Yeah.
As far as, like you said, his narrative monologue, and then you're seeing the fluorescent lights of the subway go by.
Yeah,
brilliant.
Yeah, the light at the end of the tunnel, literally.
Oof.
Yeah.
Oof.
And De Palma, the director of it, is Brian De Palma, and Brian De Palma was at the height of his powers when they were making this. De Palma had worked with him on Scarface, but in a way, it was the camera work and the 70s threads and how thrilling he made all the scenes that elevated this to almost like an epic Shakespearean tragic tale of this is a man who he's fighting time. He gave time of his life going into prison, and all he wants is that moment of legitimacy. And the camera work and the sort of feverish way that Brian De Palma can shoot, and he chooses his angles very carefully for effect. You're right. That opening scene sets a tone, a tragic, somber tone that kind of balances those larger than life performances that they're giving. And so my argument was I feel it's a slightly better film because having worked together and lived in that space, I feel like the character work complemented the camera work perfectly, and it was a perfect balance. It was a more balanced film, but it was overshadowed by a showier film, of course. But if you look at the performance, it's amazing.
Yeah. But to me, like pound for pound, like as far as like watchability, rewatchability, whatever.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, I agree.
Like Scarface is to me like one of those movies.
I don't know, man. They're very different.
I mean, I watched it again last night for the first time in a while, and we'll get into that here.
Okay, good.
But I liked it. But yeah.
So we come out of the he gets out of jail on a technicality. I got rejuvenated in 5 years, not 20, Your Honor.
Not 20, Your Honor.
Then him and Champagne, who's got the most hideous hairpiece, they have a very long, intimate.
It's like Sean Penn said, "Make me look like bald Art Garfunkel."
They're at the
Yeah, they do have
at
a
this
very
club.
intimate
Yeah,
conversation.
it's a very quiet
Yeah.
scene.
You're right.
You know, because everyone's partying, but they, you know, what you get is Carlitos' loyalty to Penn.
Yeah.
I don't think the dirtbag yet is there yet with Sean Penn.
Yeah.
No.
Yep.
No, because we don't really learn. I was gonna say no, because we don't even learn that until later on in the film, when he kind of tells him the 5 years you were gone, this guy got dirty, and not only that, he's worse than you were. Like he flat out tells him that the DA or whatever it is.
Yeah, and what I like about him too is he's his best buddy, but he's ultimately the one who's going to get him in trouble. Who's going to get him pulled back from the very thing he rescues him from. And I always said in an alternate universe, he probably would have won an Oscar for that part because he really does disappear into the horrendous perm and the disguise. But he's the most coked up. He would have won in an alternate universe. I mean, just such a coked up character. Perfectly captured.
Who won against him because he got nominated. That was just a killer.
He got nominated, but he didn't win. Yeah, he didn't win. I'd have to look.
So we move on to the story. And Mexican Iron Man, please, chime in anytime. To where he's with a younger cousin, played by John Ortiz, and John has had this really launched John's career as well. You see John in American Gangster, Silver Linings. This really launched a lot of careers for some Latino actors, which, really frustrates me that Johnny Legs kind of dissed his own film. And, he's got, that's a whole nother argument. But the cousin asked him, hey, would you go with me on this run? Would you go with me on this pickup? Because if I walk in with Carlito Brigante, they're going to be like, whoa, wow. And I call this Tom K and Tom 4K. I call this the 8-ball scene.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's true. And it's very much like what I love about it is it's almost anthropological in how the order of things are. Like it's like I'm seen with this person that gives me credibility. There's this gang versus that gang. I'm in this group and you're not. And the currency of them is not even money, but it's reputation. And it's, I can't believe you're not back on the street. Like that scene where he's walking down the street and everybody's just like, hey, he's back. He's going to be exactly who he was before. And everyone wants to be seen by him. And the minute he seems like, he takes somebody, he's like, no, I'm not going to do what I used to do. They look at him like, are you crazy? Why wouldn't you? There was no room in this social order to change. Everyone was on a suicidal ramp trip to end up, dead in an alleyway or double crossed or stabbed or something. And it says a lot about human nature, doesn't it?
Well, yeah. And there's also that great master shot where he's walking in his old neighborhood with Luis Guzman.
Yeah. Actually, I love that.
I got to correct you on one thing, Paulie. Actually, Carlitos Way did not get nominated for any Oscars whatsoever.
What?
He got nothing.
Sean Penn didn't get nothing?
That's what I'm saying, Paulie. That's why I said an alternate universe, he would get nominated.
He got no nomination.
And all it got closest it got was a couple of Golden Globe nominations for Penelope.
That's
Sean
criminal.
Penn.
For Penelope.
Yeah, which I would honestly argue she is one of the worst performances in the film.
I mean, she's
a decent actress, but she was very miscast in this role. And
this is the one where she started dating him too. I think.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is there's the whole fucking thing with that. Like, yeah.
That
clouded things a little bit.
A couple things before. I don't want to get Mexican Iron Man up in an ire too much, but this should be pointed out that some people that are in the chat that Mexican Iron Man has a problem with. Kathleen Kennedy is here, everyone.
Wait,
Greetings,
what?
peasants.
Wait, what? What?
saying,
Kathleen Kennedy's here. What? I'm
Why are
triggered.
you following me around? I already retweeted your shit. Now leave me alone.
Greeting peasants. I love it.
Gary, would you please take care of her, please?
Who's Gary? It's Frank.
I mean,
Gary.
Frank Marshall. Sorry.
Who's
It's the
Gary
wrong Marshall.
See, I'm so triggered. I thought of Gary Marshall instead of Frank Marshall. See,
This is why I do cocaine.
Frank, will you please tell her what country she needs to go to?
Uranus?
No, the one in Africa.
Wow.
I don't know. I test the reins down. In
Congo.
There.
Congo. Okay, so before we're now at that point in the story, we're actually going to do one of the scenes, but before we do that, we got a couple of super chats. I wanted to give a big thank you to R2 the Icky for $4.99. I haven't watched this movie
That's great.
in over a dog's age, but I wanted to watch it again with commentary from Polly. Yes, let's do it, man.
That'd be
It's a great
fantastic.
film. It's a great
It
film.
really
Thank you
is.
so much. Thank you so much. And Valiant Renegade for $10, who's also a fine member of the channel. I love this movie. This 4K transfer is amazing, and I plan to finish watching it tonight if time permits. Hail Polly, Tom, Mike, and other Tom. You can fight over which is other Tom.
I love that.
I'll be the other Tom in this case.
You can be, this time you can be other Tom.
I have no problem with that.
And Tom K is nice.
Nice.
Let's give a
4K.
big muchísimas gracias and a video shout out to all the guys, to the new member and to the super chats. Here we go.
You can't really
Konkle.
unsee that.
No,
Yeah.
Mr. Konkle, despite popular belief, that is not me smiling without teeth in the.
That is not you without the
Yeah,
the mouth guard.
I don't care what
Yeah.
Tom or Polly says. That was not me.
You know
Quick
nothing
question.
about.
Quick
Yeah.
question, Mr. Konkle. How did this
Yes, sir.
film? To what extent, if any, did this film influence your filmmaking career?
Oh, I think when I initially saw it, it reinforced for me that you can have amazing shots. You can have, a lot of style as a director, but ultimately it boils down to faces and memorable performances. And for me, because I love film noir and I'm really drawn to it. That's why I made it. But with this, you notice what we're talking about. We're talking less about plot from point A to point B than this happened, this and this. What we remember about this is Davy Kleinfeld, the way he looked, the way he talked, the character, those intimate conversations, the dynamic between it. With Carlito talking to Gail or Benny. We remember those faces and those characters. And for me, whenever I see a film like that, it always brings me back as a director or even as an actor to go, you know what? At the end of the day, it's this. It's always this, and you got to make people care. You have to make people care about the characters. Or plot is nothing.
Yeah,
It's great. So we've come into that point in the story where Carlito goes to see Kleinfeld. Kleinfeld wants to talk to him, and we're going to bring this up. And Tom K will portray Kleinfeld, and I will be
To imagine.
Carlito. Use your imagination.
You use my imagination for the hair. Yeah.
And
scene 20, interior, or what? Where are we at here? 20. Here we go. Scene 20, interior. Kleinfeld's office, day. David Kleinfeld's office overlooking a rainy Columbus Circle. Kleinfeld sits behind a large desk that is a sort of pedestal to properly elevate the lawyer above the client. The office itself is expansively furnished, jammed with Spanish furniture and assorted nautical artifacts. Carlitos sits in a low-slung leather chair across from Kleinfeld.
I took a look at the club you were talking about. Sasos? Nice location. Somebody ran it right. Maybe it could make some good money.
Great. I'll advance you the 25,000.
No, man. I put my own money in it.
Your own money? What money?
I ran into Orlando. He owed me 25 from an old thing. It's the only way I'll do it, Dave.
All right, you got it. Terrific.
Call Sasso. Tell him I'll go see him tonight.
Done. Listen, while you're here, I have a little favor to ask you. I want to ask you something, a little favor.
What?
No, it's no big deal. I mean, I need to get a bodyguard, somebody good.
Who's bothering you, Dave? Someone I know?
No, it's no big deal. Just a little misunderstanding.
Then what do you need a bodyguard for?
Just trust me on this, okay? It'll be fine. It's just temporary. You know anybody? I mean, like a real animal?
Sure. I'll get you Pachanga, one of the old barrio crowd. Only knows how to do two things, fuck and fight. You'll be all right.
Thanks. Hey, we're going to make some good money with this club. I can feel it.
I'm only in until I make my 75 grand, and then I split.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're going to rent Ford Pintos to tourists in paradise. Fucking believable.
Nice.
I can't. I'm dying over here.
That was great, man. That was great.
Oh, man, I can't breathe.
I love that guy.
Yeah. Look, nice sound effects.
and that's the thing about him. He's one of the most coked up characters in cinema history. But what's amazing about him, is he is so unaware of him of how he's coming off. He wants to be a tough guy. He almost is like a surrogate for Carlito. Remember that scene where the guy starts dancing with his girl, and he's the one who gets all worked up.
Yep.
You know, he's like, "What are you doing, touching my girl?" It's like he's an extension of Carlito. I wonder if, you know, in the script or as a story, in a way, he's like the past that Carlito left behind, and Kleinfeld represents like the corruption inside, or where he was, who he used to be.
Well, he says it, right? He says it. Congratulations, Dave. You're now a gangster.
Yeah.
He says that. He says that.
Yeah, he does. And
know?
he's no longer a lawyer. He's a gangster.
So, Carlito goes to Sasso's, and we are introduced as the film debut, I think, of, or maybe not, but one of his bigger roles of John Leguizamo as Benny Blanco from the Bronx.
Yep.
And
Benny from the Bronx.
Benny from the Bronx. It's a great character for him. And he's like a little tick, isn't he? He's like, he gets in his face, and he has everything to prove. But one thing that he brought as an actor is Leguizamo felt like you couldn't predict where he was going to go. He had a weird nervous energy about him that is very hard to get on film or as a performance. Yeah, exactly. He had this kind of unpredictability, don't you think, Paulie? There was something about him you didn't know when he'd go off.
Well, he turned down the role 4 times, and it wasn't until De Palma said that, you know, you can improvise.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And that improvisation
4 times.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, you got to be ballsy to turn De Palma down back then 4 times, you know. But I think the improvisation makes him unpredictable as a character. I think it made it have more life.
Well, and the other thing about Benny is, you know, they keep pointing out that, oh, that's you, Carlito, when you were younger. And he gets so offended
and he gets pissed
by that.
You're
but
right.
I think that's true, because it is. Like, that's what bothers him, is that is the way he used to be. And like you said, Tom, he's trying not to be that way. Just like, you know, the Sean Penn character, was it Kleinfeld?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Kleinfeld is acting, you know, just like he used to act, right? Like,
yes.
So that's kind of, it's all mirror images of, like you said, like, and he's trying to pull himself away from these things. So that's the last thing he wants to do, is get chummy with somebody who will remind him of himself, you know? And again, like, you know, he says it, like, I should have, you know, he sealed his fate by not taking the kid out. Right. Like, that was his undoing. And
you can't be the new him and do that and leave anyone behind or alive, because it will come back to, you make a great point, Tom. In a good tragedy, the characters around you are all reflections of that main character. They're all possible destinies. They're all aspects of the personality. And so with what De Palma's doing with this kind of, you know, insane camera work and direction that he's doing, is ultimately he's showing you a man that is fragmented in all these different pieces. And when Benny Blanco is there, he's not really the way he was. He's the worst aspects, but he's aspiring to be that. He's a little punk who wants to be a tough guy, and he overcompensates. And you look at the color palette he has too, Paulie. Look how he dresses, how the colors and everything.
Put that photo back up.
Yeah, put that up.
The sad part is if he would have just been a little nicer to him, right, in the story,
a little bit,
he could have been the one who'd have been his saving grace in the end, right? But instead, he's his undoing.
It was his
Totally.
undoing. That's a great point. And
Totally.
and they did a really good job sort of building that final confrontation where it was inevitable that somebody was going to die.
Because
Now,
really,
there he
all
is.
Benny wanted him was to be like a mentor and a friend.
Yep.
You know,
Mhm.
and that would have been the turning point where, like, if he would have, then like Benny probably would have been the one powerful enough to protect him at the end. But
That's
instead,
right.
he's the guy who killed him.
Yep. And Carlitos' pride prohibited him from being able to welcome him back into his life because it would be admitting that he was not moving on, that he was still bringing him back into this world, and his rejection of him ultimately undoes him.
And
You know,
also,
his loyalty.
We'll just say really quick, Carlito's super arc is to make his money, take Gail, and go to the Bahamas.
live a normal life. Yeah.
Live
Right.
a normal life. Bye-bye. Right?
Pintos
that's-
in paradise.
He kind of
Yeah.
gets he gets so
Tunnel vision.
Yeah.
fixed on it that, you know, when he treats Benny, he knew he when he treats him bad, he either should have killed him off right away, or he, like you said, should have been.
He should have killed him off.
Come under
he
his
should.
wing or killed him
You
off.
think so, Mike? He should have killed him?
He
Yeah,
should've
man.
killed
I
him.
mean,
Absolutely.
don't get me wrong. The way the story goes is the best for the story, but in real life, that kind of scenario, you should have knocked him off.
Well, and Benny, sadly,
That's
he's
true.
going to have a tragic lesson later on in life, right? Like he killed Carlito now, but I'm sure when he gets to be Carlito's age, he'll look back on that and go, "Oh man, Carlito actually did me a favor and let me live," right? Because I wouldn't have let me live.
Right.
Because he's going to be
Yeah.
faced with the new Benny at some point.
That's
Like,
right.
I mean, it kind of sets up an entire scenario for Benny later on at some point if he survives that long. But yeah,
Yeah, if he survives that long, he's going to meet himself again.
at
as
some
this little
point, and that
hobbit
whole
guy.
incident will make sense to him, and he may feel regret over that. But again, that's the beauty of the end of this film and how it ends is it kind of leaves that open ended, kind of like we don't know
Yeah.
where these characters go and what happens after that.
Well,
That's true. That's a great
let's
point.
read the Pachanga Benny Blanco scene, and we have not rehearsed this one, which I think would be a lot of fun.
That'll be interesting.
Let's bring up the script, and,
And I'm
you know,
just doing the narration, correct?
yeah.
Okay.
And everyone's got their parts. Mexican Iron Man will be making
Yep.
his well, it's not your acting debut, but this is your biggest role to date.
Well, he's been in our script readings before, so
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, but I got freaking Tom Konkle on top of me. What the hell?
And you still want me to do Benny?
You
correct?
do Benny. Yep.
Okay.
Right,
Okay,
like-
well, here we go. This is our next scene. Here, this is a good one.
Scene 23, interior, Carlito's club, night. The club is packed. Carlito's voice comes over as he moves through the crowd. Pachanga, the Puerto Rican he met on the street in Spanish Harlem, dogs his footsteps in a brand new suit, impressed with himself and with Carlito, whom he works for now.
So here's me in the club playing Humphrey Bogart. Things can get very sticky after hours, so I bring Pachanga in for a little extra backup. Poor guy thinks I'm still a big timer, thinks I'm gonna make him rich, and he's worried I'm gonna get killed before he scores.
Jesus, Carlito. I heard about that cheat with your cousin. Jesus, why you don't tell me so I can watch your ass?
Pachanga,
love it.
Hey, you
That
said
was-
that you asked for a Mexican.
but
The
Pachanga,
Mexican show.
that was last month. You just found out?
Coño, Carlito. You got me running after that fucking Kleinberg in the daytime.
Kleinfeld. I hope you do better job with him than you do with me.
That guy got a lot of money, Carlito. He got a safe in the office. I get a look inside once. Stacks of hundreds. Just fucking waiting for somebody to grab them.
Hey, Kleinfeld's like my brother. You understand?
Carlito, hermano. Pachanga only fucking around, man.
Well, don't fuck around. Keep your eyes open. There's people stealing money off the bar.
I try, man, but it's too fucking dark in here.
Can I stop for 2 seconds? You
Why?
found an early version of the script because I read that the
This is
Latino
the-
members of the crew complained about this version of the script.
Great. I love it.
Wait, am I doing something wrong?
No, you're brilliant.
No,
Okay,
you
because
did a
I
great
watched
job.
the movie. I watched the movie last night.
No,
I
you did a
I
great
printed
job,
this-
Mike. But I'm impressed.
different.
I want to nominate him.
because he
Yeah.
found the early version
Put
of
it
the
on me.
script. Because
Okay, because I'm nervous as hell. Because like, if someone told me that I got to read scenes with Tom Konkle, I'd be like, "That's never gonna
no,
happen."
I'm impressed because this version of the script got rewrote. They changed Pachanga's lines to be not phonetically correct because people got
Luis
offended.
didn't like it too much. Yeah. Well, whatever.
Cuando estaba en Cuba, Fidel me
So I
remonta
didn't
todo.
know
Yo
this
tenía
version
rancho
still
grande con
existed.
azúcar. Ok, vamos a continuar.
Okay, let's
Continue.
go to
I
Benny
love
Blanco
this.
right there.
All right.
Introduce him, Tom.
Benny Blanco, mid-20s, Hispanic, sitting in the middle, seemingly in charge. He is dressed head to toe in gray except for his starched white shirt, gray suit, gray shoes, gray stick pin through his gray tie.
Something wrong with the check?
No problem. Sasso owes me money. I'm just working it off for him. I'm Betty Blanco from the Bronx.
You know me.
Are you kidding? You're Carlito Brigante.
Well, I don't know you, and I don't owe you. Sasso does. I don't. This is my joint. No, new rule. Everybody pays his tab.
Hey, no problem, no problem. Have a drink with us, Carlito.
Some other time, kid. Take care of the waiter. Fucking kids. Make a couple of ounces. That makes him a big shot. Make a few bucks while I'm in the joint. I'm supposed to respect them. Fuck that.
Fuck that. What? I'm trying to be
Betty
was
Blanco
great.
from the Bronx.
That was.
Mexican Airman. Am I fired already? I just got hired for the script.
You are amazing, Mike.
Okay, I feel like I'm getting
was great.
fired.
But you know,
That was
now
fantastic.
That you mentioned it, this script is like so wrong.
Yeah, I was surprised when I didn't realize it was that version. Yeah.
I just, I did PDF search and it
Yeah,
came up.
download.
I rehearsed
What-
and everything. Okay,
Whatever.
You were brilliant.
All right,
Mike,
I love
you're
acting
great.
with
Look at
you.
that.
It's usually
Look at that.
harder to
Punk
find
Waddle.
the earlier versions. That's the thing.
Punk Waddle says, Mike, you're doing great.
Thank you, Punk Waddle.
I have to agree.
Naked
was good.
Flame. Mikey's killing it. Killing it.
Thank you, Naked Fame. Oh, Sherry. Hi, Sherry.
Hi, Sherry. Hello. Cool. All right.
I thought I was in the room with Luis Guzman. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh,
Wow.
Where
Okay,
he
so-
disses him, that's an important scene right there. The way he just doesn't show the respect. He tries to welcome him in, and we think he's walking away from it. But that's the moment. That's the moment where he sets a collision course with Benny right there.
Mhm.
That's it.
That's it. I mean,
Yeah.
it wouldn't be a film if that didn't happen.
Yeah,
Because
and it wouldn't be an epic tragedy. Yeah, it
Right.
really is.
right. And then what's cool is that he's monologuing the whole time. He's like, "Oh fuck, what did I do
Yeah.
that for?" I mean, I just love that device, man.
I do
love that
too.
device.
There's something about being in his head that's just the best, because you can show things that you in film you show don't tell. But the thing about a voiceover is it gives you the inner thoughts and workings, and they use it so brilliantly because you feel like you know exactly what his character's thinking as he's doing things, which is just a wonderful device.
So Tom 4K, Gail
Yes.
makes her entrance as Penelope makes her entrance as Gail, and we see Brian De Palma's flair with that camera work in the city
Yeah.
street, which I loved.
Yeah, beautiful. And it's a romance. I mean, would you guys agree that at its heart this story is still a romance, that she's Carlito's angel, that she's what he aspires to, and she's a dancer, and he pined for her, right, in the joint. He
oh,
wanted
Mexican Iron Man has been in that situation before, Mr. Konkle.
No, it's a great
Yeah,
kind of antithesis to Michelle Pfeiffer's character in Scarface, which I wish she would have played it here. I think she would have done a little bit better job.
Ooh.
And again, I have nothing against Penelope Emily. She's a great actress, but just something about this character here. And I seen somebody else in the chat say that she did fine, and that's fine. I mean, it's not like she did a horrible job or anything. I thought it would have been neat considering they got 6 other actors from Scarface in this movie.
Yeah.
It would have been at least a nice, cool reunion to have Michelle play that character. But regardless, because she is everything he's aspiring to be, and she is his last chance, right?
Yeah.
Like she was his beacon before, and he just can't have her. That's the thing he's
She's
not
redemption.
allowed to have.
Yeah.
And she's paradise, right? And
Yeah.
even a throwback to Scarface is the whole paradise sign thing from, I don't know
That's
if you
right.
noticed that, Paulie. it's the same deal. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's good.
It's aspiring to. But I don't think she has to be that much richer. It's not Gail's way, it's Carlito's way.
Exactly.
And I think
she just wants to be
serves,
with him. Yes.
Yeah, she wants to be with him. It's not Gail's story. And I think that every character gets richer when he has something he cares about. If he didn't have her, if he didn't have that as an element in the story, it would be more like a robot. It would be a little bit less human. And what I like,
it's the humanity. It's the humanity.
Well, right, and that's what I was getting at, because like Michelle Pfeiffer's character in Scarface, she kind of emulates everything that is wrong, right?
Yeah.
Like he even says it, you're polluted. I mean, and he's he's saying it in that one scene, but it's true. Like she emulates everything he should not want to, covet, but he does.
Yeah, but he does.
Film, the love interest instead is the thing he does covet but cannot have, because she is that pure thing that he is, no longer worthy to have even. And again, like you pointed out in the beginning, Tom, it all comes through the character of Sean Penn's Kleinfeld, because his undoing of every little thing has to do with Kleinfeld. If you kind of pay attention in the film, even to the point where he kind of, the whole woman thing, that one scene,
he whispers sweet poison in his ear.
Exactly. Yeah.
Sweet poison. I don't know. What do you guys
line I have here? You don't get reformed, you just run out of wind. I mean, there's all these poetic drops of street knowledge, man.
Well, a lot of the movie is about him dealing with the fact that he's kind of, even though they don't portray him as over 50, I'm sure he feels that way being in prison for so long and all that kind of shit. Because even like that one scene with Penelope where they're playing and she's like, you can't come in. I said, no. If you want to come in, though, you're going to have to bust down this door. And they have that whole kind of...
He's like, I'm old. I'm
too old for that shit.
Then he busts it down anyway.
And then he's like,
like any guy would.
Thing. Exactly. Like, so yeah, you're right, Paulie. That is kind of a underlying tone to this movie of this, I'm getting too old for this shit. I want to just be a normal old guy, live out my life in paradise with the woman I love. And I don't want to be a part of this dirty young man's world anymore.
Which is the opposite of Scarface from 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It's a
on
great
to it.
role.
Yeah.
It's a great role.
Holly, you bring up a good point real quick to that, what you just read as a quote, as I hadn't thought of this before, is maybe I was wrong about one thing. Maybe he's not looking for redemption, but he's just looking for a way out, which is a very different thing. Like maybe it's not even redemption within this tragedy, but he's just trying to figure out a way out of it. Like he doesn't need to be redeemed.
No, I don't think he's looking for redemption at all. No.
Yeah. He's looking for a way out.
Maybe with Gail a little bit, but she's part of let's get the fuck out. I'm gonna, she's gonna have a baby too.
Right. Yeah. And that, I mean, you can't, when you're in that situation, it's about stability and love and sacrifice and not greed and reputation.
Well, and that's kind of the whole point, is even though he knows he could have this thing that he wants that's portrayed in that moving painting at the end, right?
Yeah.
As he's dying, like he still makes all the wrong choices all along the way, and that's what he keeps saying. And it has everything to do with, him being so loyal to Sean Penn's character and what he gets him into, right?
You're right.
And at every turn,
to your friends.
And at every turn, he has a chance to get the fuck out, even when the DA gives him an option to get out. Right. And like I just pointed out with Benny Blanco, like if he'd have been more friendly with Benny, he'd have had a friend that was powerful, right? That was kind of like him, because that's kind of like, because that's the great thing you get with Carlito is you don't really get much of what he was prior to. I've never seen the prequel.
No.
And I know I believe that's based on the first book.
Don't even bother. Yeah.
I've heard it's garbage. I've heard it's garbage, so I'm not even going to bother with it. But like I can imagine what we're seeing in that is that Carlito's character was probably that guy, like he protected all his friends. He was the loyal to an end, and that's why we even get that. Like he sat in prison. He, like the guy says, you could have turned me in all this time. You could have, whatever. But no, you were facing 30 fucking years, right? And you didn't say a goddamn word. So like he's loyal to that guy. Same thing with what we see through Sean Penn's character. And he even asks us, who's bothering you? We just read that scene. Do I know him? Well, like that's the whole thing, is he's real good at playing the mediator. Right. So that's probably a lot of where he rose, as he was able to bring a lot of powerful people together and create this like network. And you're right. Like now he's pushing everything off, right?
Yes.
Like outside of the few people that he still has in his little circle. And it's constantly like with Benny and even the other guys. And, sure.
Well, he's also a man of he's a man of his word, big time.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which gets him into trouble, right?
Which he's learning doesn't mean shit to anybody but him. Yeah.
Because Kleinfeld is the opposite. He's become the opposite. He's become a total thief, a liar, a backstabber, double crosser, which you need for this story, Tom K.
Yeah. Yes, that's correct.
So
and
that's
you know what?
up.
You're right. Symmetry there.
And that's set up with the state trying to go after, we think, Carlito when Lalin shows up. And we're gonna see. Right. We're gonna wrap it up soon, but we're gonna read one more scene with Lalin coming to the club, which is a fantastic scene.
Great scene.
We'll bring it up.
Viggo Mortensen, throwing it down.
And this is scene 47. Tom, if you can, if you got it.
Got it.
And everyone's got their roles. Everyone's ready.
Yep. I got my Puerto Rican Dominican button from New York ready to push.
No, this one I'm not sure about. Which one am I doing in this one, or am I doing?
You're doing the slugs.
Yeah, man. I'm ready, man.
Scene, what one was it? 47?
Scene 47, yeah.
Okay, hang on.
Page 54.
Okay.
And by the way, real quick while he's finding it, you're right. The thing that occurred to me too is your point is well taken. The loyalty to his friends that kept him alive before he went in the joint is the very thing the loyalty to his friends will be his undoing after he's done his time. And there's an incredible, if I was attacking the script, I think I would start there. I would start with that theme.
Because he says after he does that favor, he's like, "We're good. I need you to say we're good. All right, I'm fucking out.
We're good." Yeah.
Now, the first line of this movie should be, "Who needs enemies with friends like these?"
Friends like that. Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Who needs Who needs enemies? But the loyalty is what undoes him.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Let's.
Tom, I'm ready with the sound effects. So go ahead.
Oh, you got sound effects?
All right. Go ahead. Go.
Let's see here. I want to make sure I'm on the right page here. I think I'm off. And then I just opened something else here. Hang on. God,
that's all right.
All right. Where are we at here? 54, 47. Continue. We're starting. Okay. Gotcha. All right. Where to go? 43.
Down at the bottom.
Into your office, right? 47.
Yep.
Carlito is lying on the couch.
Okay. 47. Scene. Interior office, night. Carlito is lying on his couch in the office with a drink. Lalin continue to take a hit every now and then. He's looking wired as hell. He's taking out a rock of coke and is cutting it up with a long switchblade to refill his box. They're laughing. It seems they've been talking for a time.
Yeah, I seen that chick you used to go around with.
Oh yeah, who's that?
The one down at the Bahamas, the dancer. I seen her dance. This place down on 48th and Broadway. It's a classy joint.
You saw Gail dance? When?
A couple of weeks ago. I don't know. She was in this fantastic show. Very artistic. She's a very talented lady.
48th and Broadway?
Yeah. Whatever. So Carlito, listen, you back in business? Huh?
No, I ain't. I'm retired.
Come on. You mean all them people in Lewisburg, you didn't connect?
I did a lot of reading, mostly. Worked on my appeal. What about you? Last I heard you were doing 20 upstate.
Beat it.
No shit. How?
Work with a couple of guys on the block, smart guys. Just beat it. That's all. I'm in with some people, Carlito. Italianos. Heavy paper.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they got money. They go up to 25 for a key if it's good. And they want regular street people. Old school,
Stand-up guys. like us. Right, Lalin?
Yeah, like us, baby. Yeah. What do you say? You, me? Maybe you bring in your connection.
I told you. I ain't connected.
Yeah, come on, babe. You forget who you're talking to.
You
Sorry,
got
I
that,
forgot I
Bob?
had my regular mics. In a second, Carlito rips the switchblade out of Leyland's hand and shoves it up against his neck, the tip of it pressing into Leyland's Adam's apple. Carlito puts his finger to his lips, gesturing for Leyland not to make a sound. Leyland stares at him, wide-eyed. Carlito reaches slowly into Leyland's shirt and with a slight tearing sound pulls out a tiny microphone and the end of a wire. He rips the wire from Leyland's chest, hurls the mic to the floor. He stomps on it, smashing it to bits.
So that's how you beat 20 years, isn't it? You piece of shit. What the fuck's the matter with you? I'd have pushed you into the fucking river.
What the fuck, Carlito? You? Coño, Lalin, you fucking chiva. You fucking stupid.
Get the fuck out of here, Pachanga.
I kill him for you, Carlito. I fucking kill him myself.
Get the fuck out of here.
Kill me. Go ahead. Kill me. I don't give a shit. Look at me. Look at what I got to carry around. Pampers. Diapers. I shit my pants. I can't hump. I can't walk. Go ahead. Kill me, you cocksucker. They made me do it. Or they'd send me back to the can. I'm no good in the joint. I'm in a fucking wheelchair. You know what that's like?
Who sent you?
The DA.
No walk.
Yeah, he's got a hard on for you, man. He's got a tip you were dealing again, big time, like the old days.
I ain't made a move. I ain't made a single goddamn move. Who told him this shit?
I don't know.
Who the fuck told him?
I don't know. I swear. I wasn't going to give you up, Carlito. No way. I was going to give you a signal. I was going to write it out on a piece of paper and show it to you. Look, don't kill me, man, okay? All right?
Oh.
Don't
I
kill me,
wanna
man.
kill you, Lalin. I don't even want to hurt you. You got business to do, just do it. Do it somewhere else. I'll get somebody to wheel you out. There you go.
Hey, Mincy.
Yay.
Thank you, Polly. Pleasure.
Did my sound
that's a
effects
great
help?
scene.
Your sound effects were great. Cut.
Okay.
Making
They added
lines,
that extra layer.
yeah, making Coke lines.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
There was a spoon on my desk, but yeah.
The thing about it is it goes from being this kind of,
Coke
friendly conversation to just that amped up, just all the anger and bitterness pouring out of him to justify having that wire on. It's such a great scene where he's like, I'm in a wheelchair. I'm useless. He's a shell of a man. And I thought Vigo did a great job with that.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. I mean, with that scene, it's so memorable and it's even memed. It would have been so easy to have overplayed it.
Yep.
And for it to be silly and comical and then be a
Yep.
stereotype. And then it's a
Yep.
stereotype of a non-Latino actor playing a Latino.
Yep.
But to me, it's held up the test of time. I think it's a fantastic performance.
I agree. He lives it. He's living that moment. Like the very best acting, they are in the moment, and then he's making choices as an actor, but then he's just letting it go, and it's pouring out of him. And you're right, it holds up really well. I was surprised how much I liked that character, and I'm like, wow, that's Vigo. He's had an incredible career, and you can see why. He's a character actor who's also a leading man.
Yeah.
One thing we have to talk about is the tension, though, in the film.
Please do.
Real briefly, the pool scene, where just the choreography on that, where he's keeping an eye on his cousin, and they have this billiards trick that has the reflection of the killer in the aviator shades. That's classic De Palma. And then the final chase, we have to talk about that. It starts off in this disco club, which is an incredible set, and then stretches through the streets. It goes through a train into Grand Central, and I think it's, I don't know what you guys think, but it's like It's like the French Connection of foot races. Wouldn't you agree? It's an incredible foot race.
We're
I think
talking
it's-
about the ending.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the one in
Yeah.
the Grand Central Station. Yeah, that's amazing scene. And what's funny is they wanted to film that in the trade towers, but they had recently just had the first bombing there, so they changed locations.
Wow. Yeah.
I
that's the
also couldn't
kinetic.
help but think of and you're right. It's cinematically just
It's a very amazing scene considering
God,
they
I
didn't
mean, the
have
whole
much time
movie.
to film
See,
it.
it's like there's this. It's such an underrated film because that reminds me what 5-6 years prior was the Untouchables. Their Grand
That's
Central,
right.
their Chicago
Oh, yeah.
Union Station scene, where you have all
Yep.
these different characters, and you know, yeah, it's great. That was great.
Yeah, De Palma was influenced by was it the Odessa Steppe sequence in a Russian film, an early Russian film, and that's how he constructed all these little pieces of film that increased the tension, increased the tragedy, and his shot selection is always just brilliant. And he's obviously a student of Hitchcock. He loves to manipulate you as a viewer and make you feel emotions based on what he picks and how he edits and the kind of anxiety that he creates. Remember the scene too, where they're at the place and basically Carlito has to sort of shout his way out from the bathroom. You have a murder going on in the pool table and he's in the bathroom and he shouts his way out. That tension.
Reloading.
Shots. Yeah.
Here comes the pain. Did you say here comes the pain?
Yeah.
Yeah, here comes the pain. Yeah.
Everyone was
It's
just-
such
Yeah, because that
It's
one
worth a look
rapper
for
ended
that.
up using it for a song. Or
And
not
this
rapper, but
movie's so well
Skrillex,
done.
whatever, yeah.
It gets the level of granularity of almost like a stage play.
yes.
You feel that same intent. To me, watching the movie, you get that same feeling of when you're watching a play happen in front of you, and you have that intensity, that live reverberation. I think
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the script, I don't know if it's the actors, their looks on their face, the scene. I think it's a combination of all the things, the shot scenes like you're talking about, but it has a granularity to where when you're watching it, it doesn't have that veneer that so many movies. Some movies you watch them and you're watching a movie. This
Right.
thing, you watch it and it has this granularity to the experience that you feel that you're on a stage play and you feel that you're it's like you're in the room wherever they go, whatever they do, you're going through this movie with them and you feel it, and
Yes.
it has that granularity. Would you agree, Tom?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's much more grounded than De Palma's Scarface for sure. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
there's also a little bit of hint as to the action almost into his next film, which would be Mission Impossible, the first one.
That's right. That's right. And
Oh, I
and
totally
he,
forgot he fucking directed that.
yeah, the first Mission Impossible.
I
Yep.
forgot all that.
Again, he was on an incredible run with that stuff.
Such a run.
Mike brought up a great point. I call it the fly on the wall effect. Is that even with a stylist like De Palma, you don't feel the director's hand all the time. He basically makes you feel like you're watching a stage play because he gives you things to look at in the frame, and you can choose to look here like you would on a stage, or you can choose to look around the doorway where someone is, but he gives you the option to let it play out almost like you're a fly on the wall. And sometimes, even though it has high style, you don't feel like you're being manipulated. You don't feel that style. It's subconscious. So like a play, you're choosing what you want to look at in a play, but they're also guiding your attention in the play. A really good play is invisible as far as what it's making you look at.
That's great, man. That's great. Let's wrap it up. Go around the panel and just kind of give your final takes on Carlitos Way. I think what we need to do is a full-on table read of this movie. In fact, we're gonna do it. We'll bring you guys back,
should.
and we'll cast some ladies as well.
I can bring my spoon back.
And he's got a spoon, so
Let's
hey,
start
I'm in.
with real quick. Let's start with Mexican Iron Man. Just your overall impression of the film.
What I like, having just seen it in preparation for today, this is a movie that endures, and you would think that it doesn't because it's been many years since it came out. But this isn't so much a period piece, and and maybe that's what I like now about film noir. Is now that I learned to appreciate the genre, this is about humans having experiences with each other along a story that has a bit of a mystery to it, to where you don't want to be taken down the road in the story. You already know where the story is going, but you have no idea how the story happened, and it endures. I found it immensely watchable today. Last night, we're preparing for today, as it was when I first watched it. God, I don't even know how many years ago it was.
Tom, 4K. 4K.
Again, it's not my favorite De Palma film, but it's definitely like my second or third, maybe. Scarface still being my favorite, but no, I love Pacino. Love the film. It holds up very, very well considering. There's not much I think I would change about it. It's just it's a great film. I mean, it's a solid movie. It's sad it didn't get any nominations, but it had a lot of stiff competition at that time. I mean, it's one of the reasons that I say from 1969 or whatever to 94 is just it's a solid golden era for movies. Or a silver age, I guess you would call it more so.
You did, yeah. You said that those decades, those are your favorite decades.
Yeah, well, it just because it starts with Easy Rider, that kind of kicked it all off. And then De Palma is a part of that, like him, George Lucas, Scorsese, Spielberg, all those guys, Coppola, all were a part of that new voice coming out. And so like they all did their best work in that, basically those 2 decades there. So and
our special guest, first time on Latino Slant, thanks again, sir. Tom Konkle, your final thoughts on the film.
Absolutely. And I love being on here, Polly. I really love your show. I admire you and I appreciate being on here. I'm grateful. Gratitude. Thank you. This is a beautiful film about an ugly world. And for me, it's a tragedy that uses time. You long for time, you long for a way out. I would encourage anyone to look at it because something we didn't talk about was even the music. The end, I'll leave you with this thought, is the end scene. You have the same brilliant camera move at the end as they do at the beginning, but you go in on his eyes and Joe Cocker's You Are So Beautiful is playing. And you see her sort of dancing against the sunset, and it's sort of a gut punch of a film as the credits are going in. And what I love about this film is it is a marriage of technique with everyone at the height of their powers, with acting technique, camera technique, sound, everything sort of functioning all towards this very human thing, which is how does somebody who has everything against him in this culture, how does he get out of it? Or how does he at least get out unscathed? And can you? And it uses all the film devices, all the narrative devices that at the end of the day, you just got a slow clap for it and go, Mike, you nailed it. You stuck the landing. And I completely felt how it would be without having to live in that world. For a moment, I felt exactly how it would be to be stuck in that world and not be able to get back, even if I really wanted to get out. And that's the biggest compliment I can give the film.
Fantastic. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here. I'm going to say goodbye to you guys and give my final thoughts with the chat as well. Mike, Tom of Midnight's Edge, and Tom Konkle,
thank you.
Thank you so much. Muchísimas gracias.
Pleasure.
All right, mi gente. Wow. Carlitos Way came out the same year as another great Latino crime film called Blood In, Blood Out. This was, to me, a golden age of Latino film, and I consider Carlitos Way part of a Latino film canon. Even going against what John Leguizamo says about some of the own films that he was in, this launched a lot of Latino careers, and I'm pretty upset that John Leguizamo would in any way put this film down. It's just not right. But you be your own judge. That's my opinion. That's my slant. Go check out this film if you haven't seen it and hit me back. Next week, we're going to have a killer panel. We're going to talk about the state of Latinos in Hollywood, because I truly believe right now that Hollywood hates Hispanics. You heard me. I said that, and I'm going to stand behind it, and I have some very strong opinions about it, but we're going to get into a good conversation. Muchísimas gracias, everybody. I'm going to be back later tonight because I'm going to go check out a special sneaky screening, and we're going to do it live afterwards. Paz y delegas, and wherever you're at, please keep your slant muy fuerte.
5, 4,
3, 2, 1.